In this video, I want to talk about the AutoFill feature in Excel because it can help us create sequences and also easily create a data set. We're going to see many different practical examples on how can we create sequences in Excel using the AutoFill tool. We can use numbers, text, number with texts. We can also create sequences using dates, weekdays, days, years, months. We can use geometric sequences or arithmetic sequences and on and on. Let's start with this first example. So arithmetic sequence. Let's say I want to create just a simple sequence. It starts from 1 and then or 0 and then 1, 2, 3, 4 and on. But instead of manually input all the numbers that I need for the sequence, I can, let's say, highlight the first two values that I have. That way Excel knows exactly what I need to do. And then at the bottom right corner of the cell, I can click, hold, and drag down like this. And as we can see in the little tag just to the right of the cursor, we can see the number 10, now the number 11, now the number 12, and on. This number indicates what is the final value for the sequence. Okay, so now I have a sequence of 30 different numbers, start from, or 31, right? Starting from 0 and going up to the number 30. I can also create a different sequence. So let me select everything here and get rid of this sequence. Let's say now I want to create again using a arithmetic sequence, but this time it starts with the number 10 and then 11, 12, and on. But let's just keep up with the first two cells. And then again, at the bottom right corner of the cell, click, hold, and drag down. In that way, you can create a sequence. Another type of sequence that we can create, instead of going one by one, 10, 11, 12, 13, and on. Maybe I can go 5 by 5. So 10, 15, 20, 25, and so forth. But instead of manually, again, typing the numbers that I need, I can select everything that I did. That way it's important because it's very important to select just at least two values because that way Excel can know what you want to do. So a sequence going 5 by 5, right? I can click at the bottom right corner again, hold and drag down like this, and that way Excel can continue to create the sequence for me. Very easy to create a arithmetic sequence in Excel. Another way to create the sequence is using negative numbers. So let's say I want to start with a minus 100, and then minus 90, minus 8, and on. So as we can see, basically the sequence is going up by a positive 10. So negative 9, negative 8, negative 70, and on. If I click, hold, and drag down, Excel is going to continue to create the sequence for me. And we can also see the break-even point right here, 0. All the numbers above are negative. All the numbers underneath are positive. Other way to create the sequence, let's say I actually want to create a sequence that are going into a negative direction. So 0, minus 7, minus 14, minus 21. Let me select everything, and then Excel can continue to create this sequence. Now that we already understand how to use a arithmetic sequence, we can move on to a geometric sequence. It's maybe a little bit difficult than the previous one. Let's say I want to start with the number 1, and then the next number is the number 3, and then the number 9, and then the number 27. At this point, maybe you already realize what I'm trying to do here. Is a sequence that multiplies the previous number by 3. So 1 times 3 is equal to 3. 3 times 3 is equal to 9. 9 times 3 is equal to 27. But I don't know how to continue this sequence because it's become too difficult. But Excel knows how to do it. So let me select all the values that I already did here for my sequence. And again, at the bottom right corner, I can click, hold, and drag down. But wait a minute. This sequence right here is not right because 27, 31, 39.4, no, it's not right. But why is that? Because when you try to use a geometric sequence using the AutoFill, it's not going to work properly if you do like you are used to do. You also have this little tag right here, the AutoFill options. And if you click, you have a lot of different settings to choose. Code cells, fill series, or fill formatting only, and on. But of course, we do not have here a geometric sequence. By the way, if I choose code cells, what I'm going to have is I'm going to have the copy and paste for the first 4 cells that I selected. So if I have 1, 3, 9, and 27, basically I pull, select and drag down, I'm gonna have again 1, 3, 9, 27, 1, 3, 9, 27. So this is what the cope cells do. But let me get rid of the sequence right here. Let me keep up with the 27, of course. And then I want to select again. But this time, instead of click hold at the bottom right corner and drag down with the left click, I want to use the right click of the mouse. So right click, hold and drag down. Now you're gonna have more options to choose with the AutoFill feature, such as linear trend, growth trend, flash fill, and on and on. The one that I want to choose here is not a linear trend, because let's say it's not a arithmetic sequence or anything like that, but it's a geometric sequence. The way I can choose growth trend, Excel is gonna try to figure out what is the growth trend, or the previous number times 3, and then it's gonna continue to create the sequence. So this is why I'm choosing here the growth trend. Let me choose this option, and as we can see, now we have the geometric sequence that I need. 1, 3, 9, 27, 81, 243, and on and on. So this is how we can do it. And of course, you can also use another types of geometric sequences or other type of sequences. But we're gonna see here a lot of different examples yet. But let's go to now the dates, months, days of the week, and on and on. Let's start with the months. Let's say you have January and you want to create this sequence of months. It starts from January up to December, or you want to start with March going up to November. I don't know. You want to create a sequence using months. You can easily type in the name of the month right here at the bottom right corner of the cell, click, hold, and drag down. And Excel is going to easily create the sequence for you. January, February, March, April, May, and on and on. Another way to create a month's sequence is with a shorter way, such as Jan, that stands for January, Feb, that stands for February, and on and on. But let me just keep up with Jan. And if I click, hold, and drag down again, Excel is going to create the same sequence, but this time using only the first 3 letters of the month. I can also start with a different month. So let's say I want to start with July. Enter. Let me bring this month down, and as we can see, Excel is going to continue the sequence for me. And if I have December and I bring this December down, Excel is going to continue the sequence in the same way. So after December, we have again January, and then February, and on and on. And if I bring this down again for a couple of more cells or more rows, I'm gonna have many different months from January up to December, and again and again and again. Another thing that we can do here is using days of the week. We have Monday, we have Tuesday, Wednesday, and on and on. So instead of manually typing the days of the week, we can again use the sequence in Excel to help us, like this. Pretty easy. And we can also type in the short way of the name, such as month or Monday. And if I bring this down, Excel is going to also continue the sequence for me. We can do something similar using dates in Excel. Let's say the first date that I want to input here is January 1st of 2025. Enter. And the next date is going to be January again, however, January 2nd of 2025. And then January the 3rd of 2025, and so forth. However, I don't want to keep inputting the dates like that manually. Maybe Excel can help me. I don't even need those 2 cells right here, just the first one. Because if I bring this date down, as we can see, Excel is going to automatically create a sequence going by 1 day to 1 day, okay? 1 day by 1 day. And if I click in this little tag right here, instead of having January 1st, January 2nd, 30th, 40th, 5th, and on, I can change to few days, for example. That is exactly the sequence that I already had. And if I change to few weekdays, I'm going to have just the weekdays. The weekends is going to be skipped in the sequence, as we can see. 1, 2, 3, and here, the 4th day and the 5th day are not in the sequence because probably January 4th and January 5th of 2025 are a weekend. So let me change now to few months. And as we can see, now I'm going to have a sequence of months. January 1st of 2025, February 1st of 2025, March 1st of 2025. And if I change it again, I can view the years. January 1st of 2025, January 1st of 2026, 2027, and so forth. But let me keep up with few days. Okay, like this. Another thing that we can do here is with the weekdays, like we did saw before, so January 1st of 2025, and I only want to fill in here the weekdays. I can click in this tag, and then I can go to weekdays. We already saw this option. We can also go with the months, like we did before. So if I bring this down, I can choose, instead of fill the sequence normally with the days, I can fill with the months. And I can do the same thing, but this time using the years, like we also see before. Like this. Okay. Now, another thing that I want to show here is how can we use dates with other patterns. So let's say I want to start with, I need to create here a data set, a inventory, a sales report, or any other template in Excel that I need to have the first day of the first month. Let's say January 1st of, doesn't matter the year, okay? So January 1st. And then the last day of the month, January 31st. And doesn't matter the year. Here I'm using 2025, but doesn't matter. And then I know that February starts in, of course, February 1st of 2025. This is the first day of February. However, February doesn't go up to the day 31. And I don't know if in 2025, February is going to be 28 or 29. So what I can do here is, and of course, I need to fill in the first day of the January and the last day of January. And I need to do it for all the 12 months of the year, from January up to December. What I can do is, I can select both of those cells, the first day of January and the last day of January. And if I bring this sequence down like we are used to, let's keep up here with December, okay? If I click in this little tag right here, I can choose, let's say, few series or few months. Let's keep up with few months. And the way Excel is going to fill in all the months, the first day of the month and the last day of the month for January. And then for February, it's going to do the same thing, the first day and the last day. And for March, the first day and the last day, and on and on. So this is how we can create a sequence using dates with different patterns. Another way to create sequences in Excel now is using text with numbers. We already saw that if I input here a number such as 1,000, and then the next number be 1,500, and if I bring the sequence down, selecting both of those values, I can have the sequence that I need. However, and if I need to create a ID, identification for a product, or I need to create a code, I don't know, I need to create something that I need to have both a text such as ID add to a number such as 001, for example. Let's say this is the ID that I need. This is the serial number. If I bring this number down or this value down, as we can see, I can again create a sequence using texts and numbers. I also can create different types of sequences. Let's say I want to have a sequence using item 001. Or I can start with item 00100. And if I bring this value down, as we can notice, Excel is going to continue the sequence for me. It's pretty easy to create a sequence, as we can see, using text and numbers. And here, again, I can use a different example, but I just did two different examples right here. Let's say ID, and then I want to create a negative sequence. Start from 100 and go into ID 99. And then ID 98 and on and on. Let me bring this down. As we can see, Excel again is going to continue the sequence following the same pattern that we just selected before. You can use negative or positive a sequence, and you can also create different patterns of sequences. Another thing that we can do here is create and repeat a sequence. So let's say I want to have January, and then I want to have February, March, and April. That's it. I want to repeat now all those months. What I can do is, if I select all those 4 different values and bring it down, Excel is going to continue the sequence for me. April, and then May, June, July. But I don't want to continue the sequence. I just want to code the first 3 months, January, February, March, April, and so forth. What I can do is, I can click in this AutoFill tag and go to fill here, scope cells. And that's it. Now we're gonna have the first 4 cells, and then again the four first cells, and then again, and so forth. Another type of sequence that we can create, let's say I want to make a prediction right here, a forecast. I want to start with, let's say, January and goes all the way to December. And basically this is a sales report, but it's just a prediction. I suppose I want to sell $5,000 in January. And in February, I also want to sell $5,000. However, because I already sold $5,000 in January, I want to add the previous number with the current one. So $50,000 plus $50,000 is equal to $10,000. And in March, I also want to sell $5,000. So again, I want to add $5,000 to the previous value. So we're going to have $15,000. And I can create the sequence, and that way, when I'm here in December, I'm going to know what is the prediction through all the sales that I did throughout the year. Let me select the first 2 cells. I don't need the third one, because with the first 2 Excels already can understand what I'm trying to do. Let me, at the bottom right corner, click, hold, and drag down. And yeah, that's it. So if I keep with this rate, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, in the ending of the year, the final result that I'm going to have is $60,000. So we also can create cumulative sum in Excel, the addition of all the previous values using a AutoFill feature in Excel. Now let's go to the first example of all that we have here in the beginning of my spreadsheet. I want to create just a sample of an inventory list, and I need to fill in information such as the update date, the name of the product, the identification of the product, the quantity that I have in stock in the inventory, the unit cost, the total cost, and the unit price. Let's say here in the unit price is going to be something very different because we are going to use a formula. Also here in the total cost, we are going to see how to use the AutoFill with formulas. Let's say the update is always, I want to update everything today. So I can input here the today's date. Let's say it's January 1st of 2025. Let me bring this formula down like this. Click in the tag and then scope cells, because I want to have all the dates equal to each other. Now the product. As a product, I may have item 001 and then item 002, and I can continue the sequence. So let me bring at the bottom right corner this item down. That way Excel can continue to create the sequence for me. The ID, I can use something such as ID -01, for example. Enter. Let me bring it down again. Okay, this is the sequence. This is the ID, identification for the product. The quantity I can manually input here because I don't want to create a sequence. Maybe it's making no sense. So 5, 10, 1, 3, 9, 9, 57, 42, 14, and 41. 51, okay. Now the unit cost. Let's say the unit cost can be $10, $9.99, $5, $4.07, $1, $2.31, $3, $19.90, and then 15. Okay. The total cost needs to be equal sign the multiplication between the unit cost times the quantity. So it's a simple calculation. I can hit enter, but instead of do this calculation all over again manually for all the rows that I have, I can easily, at the bottom right corner of the cell, click, hold, and drag down, because that way the AutoFill is going to continue the sequence for me or scope the formula down. And as we can notice, in the first formula, I'm using the first row as a criteria, as the reference, the quantity and the unit cost. But if I move down, maybe to this cell right here, 1, 2, I can see that the reference also moved down along with the drag down. So it's correct. As the unit price, maybe I may sell all those products with 1.2 times the unit cost. Equal sign, unit cost times 1.2, and then enter. And to know what is the unit price for all the products that I have, we can also use the AutoFill to help us. If I bring this formula down, we're done with the calculation. Now I know what is the unit price for all the products that I have. And that's it. So this is basically how we can use the AutoFill feature in Excel with a lot of different examples. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and of course, if you have any questions or any suggestions to the next videos, let me know, comment down below, and I see you tomorrow, as every day has a new video. I see you there.